For the ninth straight season, Connor McDavid is in the number one slot. He was first on 18 of the 20 ballots among star voters. Hayes, 100 points last season with McDavid's lowest total since 2020. Is McDavid poised for a monster offensive season?
I have to be consistent here, Gino, Noodles, you'll know this too. I've been saying this all over TSN the last couple of weeks. I think it's relative. Do I think he'll have more than 100 points? Yes. I think if he's healthy, he will end up with more than 100 points. But I don't think he is slated for one of these monster 140, 150 plus point seasons. I just don't think that's where he is in his career. It's crazy. He's going into year 11. Right, he's going into year 11. Zach Hyman's hurt to start the year. You know, there's been years past when he hit 150 plus points. Their power play was all world. It was maybe the greatest, most efficient power play we've ever seen. I don't think you can expect that this upcoming season. And again, where's his head at? I think predominantly it's on the playoffs. It's going to be on being healthy. I think the Olympic Games are going to factor in this year in terms of what he does during the regular season, making sure he's ready for that platform, a massive platform in terms of legacy in his career and his contract. Maybe it boosts him, maybe it doesn't. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty there, Noodles, when it comes to where Connor McDavid's head is at going into this season. So if he's healthy, I think he cruises past 100 points. But monster offensive season, I don't see it out of 97.
Well, I got to be honest, we've got to address the elephant in the room. And the biggest elephant in the room is, you said, Gino, 18 out of 20 chose him first. What two maniacs were given ballot sheets that did not choose him one? That's the problem I have. That's problem number one, whatever. I mean, maybe they said, hey, it's Draisaitl. Maybe they said it's McKinnon. I'm joking, but McDavid is one, clear cut for me. And the reason, Hayes, you and I have talked about this, I think he's going to have a monster season because the whole league is watching him. Right now, he didn't have a great season last year. He scored 26 goals. He's already said, I want to score a lot more this season. So I've already got him pegged for 50, just because I feel like McDavid's going to want to make a splash. Secondly, we've all talked about his contract status. So all eyes are going to be on him every night to produce, to be happy, to drag that team. Yes, you're right, Brian. In year 11, it shouldn't be about points. It shouldn't be about any individual awards. But I think he's due for a monster season just based on the light that he's shining on himself. And rightfully so. He's got an opportunity to be an unrestricted free agent or sign an extension, and the whole league is watching him and waiting to see what he's going to do. Well, I think he's going to produce and just keep people quiet until he does decide what his future is in Edmonton.
I agree with you, Noodles. We got to do an investigation to find out who those two non-McDavid at number one guys were. All right, Noodles, I got you here. I've got to ask you about goaltending, specifically Connor Hellebuyck. He's the highest-ranked goalie on our list at number 9. But, Noodles, he not only won the Vezina last year, he won the Hart. Should goalies get more love on our list? Should Hellebuyck be higher?
Absolutely. But we know how, we just talked about the people not even putting McDavid at 1. You think they're going to put a goalie barely in the top 10? I think what happens is they look at the top point getters and they go, okay, let's do our 10. Oh, we got to slide some D in there. Oh, we forgot a goaltender. So let's slide Hellebuyck in the top 10. For me, he was top 5, and he should be, because he was that dominant last season and has proved to be, one of the best players on the planet, period, regardless if he's a goaltender or not. I do understand that position. It's kind of up and down year in and year out. You see a guy have a great season and then a poor season. So I do understand, we'll call it the lack of respect. But as one general manager says to me all the time, he says, you only notice goaltending when you don't have it. When you have it, you sleep at night. So I think a lot of goaltenders should be a lot higher on the list. But, given the people that choose these lists, I think it's more players than it is goaltender friendly.
Yeah, and again, let's clarify. If it was you and Marty Baron making the list, there'd be 50 goalies, or 49 plus McDavid. I mean, that's probably where it would end up in the end. But yeah. I think the point you made is a very, very important one. The fluctuation of goaltending is generally more substantial than the fluctuation of, point-getting forwards or point-getting defensemen. Hellebuyck was phenomenal last year. He won the Hart. I was calling for that all year, Noodles. I think you were as well. I think it was very, very well deserved. But I think there's also another element to this. And it probably applies to the way a lot of these voters, myself included, vote about all these players. What have you done for me lately? It's not supposed to be a part of the process, but it is. It sticks in the back of your head, and you can't look past the playoff performances. And I know this is a regular season projection. I get it. but what have you done for me lately? The fluctuation of the position, it generally can be somewhat substantial. And in Winnipeg, you know, they're going to be a really good team. I have no doubt about that. But they had a great season last year. Everything broke their way, top to bottom, not just Hellebuyck. I don't think you can expect everything to break their way again this year, which probably will have somewhat of an effect on Connor Hellebuyck.
All right, from goaltending to goal scorers, Austin Matthews, 7th on the list. He's coming off a career-low 33-goal season. Hayes, we know he was not 100% last year. We understand that. But he says he's healthy now. But he's going to be without longtime running mate Mitch Marner. Is it realistic to expect Matthews to return to his 60-plus goal form?
No, I don't think it is. I have to be consistent here with Matthews the way I was consistent with McDavid. You know, McDavid's going into year 11. Matthews is going into year 10, right? He's not a young player anymore. And the reality is scoring 60 goals is very, very difficult to do. There have been 9 players in NHL history who have scored 60-plus on multiple occasions. Austin Matthews is one of them. You know who is not one of them? Alex Ovechkin. He did it once. He never did it twice. So Matthews has already done it twice. I think the idea of expecting him to do it again, with or without Mitch Marner, in year 10 was probably too much of an expectation. But what I do think needs to be the bar that's set for him this year is he needs to prove he's still the best goal scorer in the game. And I think he can do that, and I think he can get to 50 or 55 goals. Maybe he touches up on 60. Again, losing Marner's going to hurt. Marner's a remarkable playmaker that put it on a tee for him a lot over those 60-goal seasons throughout his career, throughout his tenure here in Toronto. But he'll adjust if he's healthy. The only thing that he needs to do this year, Austin Matthews, in terms of individual success, is put your stake back in the ground and prove to the world you're still the best goal scorer in the league. That doesn't necessarily need to mean 60, but 50 is a reasonable bar. And I think if he's healthy, with or without Mitch Marner, I think he'll do it.
I agree, Brian. I think 50 or north of 50 is very achievable. You take a look at his season last year. Yes, it was low at 33, but you know his game was more rounded. There was an injury involved. We all know that nagged at him. But it's all about the opportunities. And how many times did we watch games with Austin Matthews involved where he hit a crossbar, or he missed an open net, or he had, you know, glorious opportunities, 12 shot attempts, but it didn't go in. It's just one of those years where maybe it just didn't happen for him, regardless of Mitch Marner getting him the puck or not. I still think he's going to score. I think he's going to score a ton. It just might look different because of who's getting him the puck. But once it's on his stick, it's up to him to execute. And I think he's certainly capable, to your point, Brian, of being that top goal scorer. If he gets it on his stick in a favorable spot, it's on his stick, off his stick, in the net. So I don't know if 60 is achievable, but north of 50, I think he could do that. If he's healthy and plays 80 to 82 games, he'll be able to do that for sure.
And that does it for this year's Top 50 list. A reminder, if you missed any of our week-long Top 50 Players content, you can catch up by checking out tsn.ca or heading to TSN's YouTube page.